G'day, mate, and welcome back to Captain Ministry with me, Jetty. And it feels like it's been forever. It feels like it's been forever between episodes because I've been doing some prep. I've been doing some prep for today's episode because we got a lot to get through. Today's episode is going to be the final preparations, the absolute final preparations for getting the rocket assembly building, the RAB, yes, and also the rocket silo up and running. They're going to be today's plan. We want to get both those placed so we can get them constructed. But before we get into that, we have a few last minute preps we need to do. So I'm going to remind you guys, now's a great time to click the like button if you haven't already, because we like rockets. We like rockets. We like rocket assemblies. I imagine nothing's going to go wrong. You've seen my Kerbal Space Program playthrough, right? Well, there's those rockets done with. Jeb, I think you're missing some pieces, right? I'll link it up top right-hand corner if you haven't. Yeah. And nothing went wrong. Nothing exploded. Everything went fine. At the same time, I'm going to remind you guys to click subscribe because we're in episode 68. Like, the only reasons you haven't subscribed by now, I imagine, is because you have binge-watched the last 67 episodes straight and you forgot to click subscribe 67 times in a row. Or maybe the YouTube algorithm had just recommended this video out of the blue, at which point you should definitely click subscribe because we have a bunch of Captain Ministry on this channel. We also have other games like Captain Ministry on the channel, so you should probably click subscribe because there's probably one of those you're interested in. But before we get into today's preparations, today's last minute plans, I need to, as always, thank the YouTube members. YouTube members are those that have gone above and beyond. They've clicked the like button, they've clicked the subscribe button, and they've also clicked the join button. It's right beside like and subscribe. We just spoke about both those, and they have chosen to support the channel. Because they've supported the channel, I can afford to not run ads on the channel. At least that's the hope, that's the plan. Today, we're going to be thanking a brand new YouTube member who is supporting this episode. Therefore, we have no ads on this episode. No ads whatsoever. We're going to be thanking the wonderful Sorelli. Sorelli has chosen to become a YouTube member, just chosen to support the channel, and he has promised to drive this dump truck from now until the end of time, which, if we're building a rocket silo and we expect no explosions like Kerbal Space Program, could be very, very soon. Now, we need to get into the important stuff that's happened between episodes, which means we need to talk about the most important system in the game, that being the poop system. The poop system. Episode before, whenever it was, I put in an overflow poop system because we had too much poop and we couldn't process it all. We're bringing overflow poop and we're bringing it out here and we're dumping in the sea, right beside the slums, because the slums are already built on trash, and I figured they could do with the extra ambiance of having sewage right outside the bedroom window. It all adds to that ambiance and the feeling of living in the worst part of the city. Yes. The problem was I was losing too much water. So I decided I could do better, and I squeezed in a waste treatment plant, which was fine. We could squeeze that in, not a problem. I had plenty of wastewater that needed to be processed. I had plenty of filter medium. That was not too hard. We could process the sludge right here. The catch was I didn't have enough chlorine. The 3 chlorine makers I have right here is enough to run 4.5 of these guys. I need to run 5 because I want to process all the poop we possibly can, which means I had to find a little bit of extra chlorine. So I ran a pipe all the way around the sediment over to here, where we were making just a little bit of chlorine for plastic processing, and I had enough left over we could run the extra poop machine. So we're now running an extra poop machine. All the poop is being processed, which means I'm saving plenty of water. It also means, this is the most important part, is the poop system, the grand poop system, can now process 800 poop per minute, and that's very important that you can process 800 poop per minute, because with 800 poop per minute, it means I should never have to worry about the poop system ever again. I have said that 3 times before, but I'm pretty confident this time is going to be the last time. So with that out of the way, it means I can come over here and I can unpause my last 2 houses, which is a little bit sad because at the moment we have a population, a nice population of 12,420 people, which means we're now going to have slightly more than that. So for just having 12,420 people, yeah, I got the numbers right eventually, you should click the like button for just that fact alone. It does mean with these unpaused, we're going to take the population up to 12,880, which is a lot of people. Next thing we're going to talk about is the shipyard. The shipyard has a little thing here saying it's going to collapse because I started dumping trash across here and then it complained it was going to fall over. I didn't want it to fall over because it's full of all sorts of goodies, some of which we sort of want, like the 2,500 construction parts that have ended up in here from me deconstructing things, because that's what I've been doing between episodes. I've been doing a shit ton of optimizations here, there, and everywhere. And when I'm talking optimizations, I'm talking everything down to minor stuff like pausing individual pumps and dumps because I didn't need that throughput anymore. That's sort of the extreme levels I've been going to. Speaking of extreme levels, we need to talk about the waste system and also this little system here. This little system here, after touring Zink's 100% Sustainable Island, he was doing something I found really, really fascinating. So I have extra animal feed right here. It comes along this belt, it comes into this balancer, and it's the priority in, which means it gets run over to these boilers, and we burn animal feed rather than coal to make steam. Most of the steam we're making here is being converted into water, and we're using that water to feed the farms. But there is a chance occasionally when it rains a lot and we have some bumper crops, I have too much animal feed and I don't actually need the water. So I had a situation where just once or twice it actually backed up. We had too much animal feed, couldn't get rid of the stuff fast enough. So after seeing Zink's 100% Sustainable Island, which I will also link up the top right hand corner. Also, you're going to find all these links down in the first pinned comment down below. Yep. I took his idea and I have an overflow to my overflow. So we're going to pass straight through onto the coal line first. But should we not be able to put the animal feed there, we're going to run it over here. It's going to take the animal feed, it's going to turn the animal feed into compost. It's not very quick. I hope this is enough machines. It's overflow of an overflow. It should be fine. And we'll take the compost and run the compost back over the poop system, where we take all the compost that we make from the poop system and we run it into these machines. These machines take the compost, they take some water, and they give us organic fertilizer. The organic fertilizer comes in this pipe, goes back over here and into the farms, which then creates more food, which then gets turned to animal feed. The animal feed gets turned to compost, and the compost gets turned back into organic fertilizer, comes back to the farms, and the great circle of life does continue. Yeah, I figured it was a really, really good idea, so I chose to steal it. That's the honest truth. At the same time, waste. We have a lot of waste. In fact, we are making, with the extra housing now, 377 waste per minute, which means I added a couple of extra burners in here in case it ever backed up, because it definitely didn't back up during the last little while between episodes. If you're curious on how little while it was, well, that should explain it to you. That used to be a giant hole in the ground, which was a coal mine. It's no longer a hole in the ground because I've been filling it in with trash. A lot of trash. 130 years of trash, it turns out, because that's how long it's taken between episodes for me to get a lot of optimizations done. What have we been doing for those 130 years? Well, we were putting down solar panels. I now have 1,674 solar panels, which means on a cloudy day, turns out it's a cloudy day, I have 158 megawatts worth of power available. On a sunny day, it's more like 170 megawatts worth of available power. On a rainy day, it's about 120. On a heavy rain day, it's like 90, which is half the problem. I still don't have enough power, even with the insane amount of solar panels I've put down. You may ask, Jetty, where the hell are all those solar panels? Well, remember how we had some solar panels up on the hill, which we built with Uni? The good news is they've all gone. In fact, there's just one solar panel left, which I can now officially remove rather than it collapsing, because we dug out the back of the island. And here is the time lapse right here with about 12 hours worth of mass digging and mass putting down solar panels. That is all the solar panels have been put down. It's a lot of solar panels. It also means that our last two trees on the map have now been exposed to, well, they're no longer retained. They're no longer retained by the retaining wall system, and it now means I have decided I'm going to do something wonderful with these trees, and we're going to bury them as close to hell as possible. I'm just going to keep digging down round and round circles and see exactly how low we can get these trees. At the same time, I have double retaining walled all the way around, because I definitely didn't want to lose any solar panels. One thing I do want to do is I would really like to dig across there, but the game doesn't let me, because it turns out you can't undermine retaining walls anymore. The good news is the devs have accounted for that, and if you bring up the console, which is the little button beside number 1, the title button, title, whatever it's called, and you type in toggle terrain designations over entities and press enter, it now says allowed, which means I can now carve out that little section, which I want to do because I think it's going to look much neater with a ramp nice and neat beside the wall. So that's going to be planned there. Meanwhile, those guys are going to get back to digging because that's their favorite job. Solar panels wise, we have 600 in stock, which means I'm going to put down yet more solar panels, and we don't make a lot more solar panels anymore because I've had to change the production priorities of the base for this particular episode. You may also notice the sand pit is no longer a sand pit. It also went through a little bit of a time lapse. And we dug out all the sand. We also filled filled the hole back in, because it's very, very important. You fill in your mine shafts, that way nobody accidentally falls down them. At the same time, other things that got changed around the system is we no longer have a excess of animal feed most of the time, because I added in 3 more chicken farms. So with the 3 extra chicken farms, we now have eggs and also meat running at full speed, apart from that silly belt in there that I missed. And we are now processing an extra bunch of meat and chicken carcasses and all that sort of stuff, which means hopefully, if all these belts are running fast enough, 200, 200, 200, not 200, not 200, not 200. If all these belts are running fast enough, we should have plenty of food. Not only plenty of food to make plenty of chickens and chicken meat, but also, more importantly, these guys over here, they're making food packs. We are maxed out all the machines. I think it's, 16 machines? 680, and they are 40 each, so that's 12 machines. I have 12 machines making food packs. Now, one thing I really hope is, oh look, it's heavy rain, and suddenly we don't have enough power. I told you so. Okay, one of the things I really hope in the future is I can actually upgrade these to robotic assemblers, because I don't see why I can't have a robotic assembler take a cardboard box and shove some eggs, some bread, and some snacks in there and put the lid on. It just seems a little bit ridiculous to me. But with these guys running flat out, we are processing plenty of food packs over here to load them into the ship to exchange for uranium. In fact, pretty much now, as soon as the ship finishes unloading the uranium, it's then free to leave because it's been loaded back up with food packs. We're a little bit short on the food packs, which is probably due to that one machine that wasn't running because I forgot a belt. Actually, yeah, we're a little bit short, just tiny bit. But we're pretty much there. It also means that this particular belt that's taking the uranium right across the map is full at all times, which means we should probably go look at our uranium options because we're short of power. Now, I have done a few things. One, I have seen a shrink between episodes, and I've been diagnosed with, hang on, let me look this up. I've been diagnosed with Scrooge McDuck syndrome. Now, the official diagnosis is perfectly fine, and my shrink has told me the only cure is to have large amounts of gold to roll around in continuously. So that's exactly what we have here. We have a large amount of gold storage because I vastly upgraded the gold storage. I also connected up all these little storage containers with belts, which means all the gold comes in the back and it gets processed by the 3 little machines here. Well, the 3 little rows of machines here, giving us 6 gold smelters, which is slowly filling up the boxes one by one. On top of that, as you may notice, there may be a room in here for a whole nuclear reactor. The catch is, before I can turn this nuclear reactor on, I need to fill it up with water. So we are going to unpause that, and yep, unpause that and let the trucks get to that. And meanwhile, we need to fill up this container with water before I can turn on the nuclear reactor. To do that, what I need to do is I need to put water in this pipe. To put water in this pipe, I could plug it in here, which is like a buffer tank for all the excess water from all the nuclear reactors and everything else. And that should work, but it risks that potentially I might have a problem because technically this system, being that we're using cooling towers, has a loss of 72 water per minute. Hooked up to a nuclear reactor sounds like a really bad idea. So what I want to do is I want to remove that little bit of pipe, that little bit of pipe, and that little bit of pipe. Yes, that should be enough pipe. And with those removed, we're going to come into transports. We're going to get a pipe balancer. I'm going to shove a pipe balancer here. Yeah. And we're going to run that pipe into there, 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 that output buried under there into there, and then that, well, technically comes this way and plugs into there. Yep. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take all 4 lanes out of this tank, because, well, we feed technically 4 lanes in. It's a bit of a mismatch of how the water actually gets in here. The point is it all goes into a buffer tank, which just holds it before it sends it up these 3, well, hopefully very full pipes, into our 8x8 balancer, which then feeds it into all the farms. It's like a little bit of a buffer tank. What I want to do is I just want to steal some of the water off the buffer tank, and we're going to do that by coming in here and prioritizing out that pipe which will run under there and fill that pipe up, which means eventually, when we come back in a little bit later, hopefully, if I build that balancer hidden under there, you should be full of water. You should be full of water. Reactors should be ready to go. Belts are full of fuel. And we should be ready to turn on this reactor should I still need the power. But what I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping to avoid using this reactor, because what I'd really like to do is really like to build a battery. To build a battery, I need a whole bunch of iron, which means the twin iron peaks that end up being here, I removed them. Okay, I lie. It wasn't twin iron peaks. It was just a big chunk of iron that happened to be in the way that we dug through and left ourselves with 2 iron peaks, but we have better pathfinding for the trucks. I removed them. But that means I have a bunch of iron, which means I can come around here. And what I want to do is I want to demolish this old power plant. Now, this old power plant was 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 megawatts worth of power, which we were running on coal, like 216 coal per minute. The problem is I can't afford 216 coal per minute, so what I really want to do is I want to remove this whole system. I want to start about here with the deconstruction tool, drag it to about here, and hold down the shift button. As long as I hold down the shift button, every single pipe you touch with the decon planner gets removed. Every belt, everything. So we're going to do that. We're going to remove all those. I'm also going to grab that pipe and that pipe that ran into the desal plant. We don't need those anymore. And what I want to do is I want to plan out a new power plant. A new power plant that runs on batteries. Yes, there are batteries in captive industry. They're not efficient batteries, but they do actually exist. We want to set these power reactors to UB level 15, UB level 14. Oh, I actually also want to remove U, and everything to there. Cool. Yeah, I want to have a couple of power plants. 4 of them to be exact. So I want to have you being 14, you being 15, 14. I want you to be power level 13, and I want you to be power level 12, because the smart reactor is power level 11. All right, our plan is we're going to have 4 of these guys. Now, these 4 are intentionally put on a single drive shaft for a number of reasons. One of them happening being about maximum throughput of power on a shaft. If you want more details on power plants and that sort of stuff, I will link the tutorial video that I did on power quite some time ago. It's very, very helpful, but it does cover all the different limitations when it comes to different drive shafts and all that sort of stuff. Next thing we want to do is we want to have a whole lot of mechanical battery power. We want to have a whole bunch of these, probably even one more. Yeah, let's throw one more on there. Okay, let me guess. You're all trying to build a nuclear reactor? Or you're trying to deconstruct? So you can build a nuclear reactor, you just can't get in here to deconstruct the things I want you to deconstruct. You guys are helpful. Let's just remove that much. At least then I can plan out half of this build. All right, I want to unpause those guys. Unpause. Cool. I want to copy that one to those. I want to copy that one to those. Also want to unpause those so they're ready to go. Can I get... You're already uni built. Come on. I need you to go away. All right, we're going to paste that there and that there. So the idea is we're going to have a whole bunch of potential battery storage right here on these flywheels. A whole lot of centrifugal force. No, not centrifugal force. Spinning mass, whatever you want to call it. My brain can't come up with the exact word right now, but if you check the comment section, I'm sure somebody it came to somebody instantly. All right, next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to have a couple of generators. Not big generators, I'm just using little generators. I'll explain why in a second. And you know what? I'm impatient. I can't wait. We're going to throw uni at the problem, make all that go away. And actually, just whilst I think about it, can I grab you? And I want to put you here. Thank you. And we're just going to slide you in there really quickly. And we will plug that in there. And plug... Come on. No, you had it. Stop being difficult. Yes, okay, back to this. All right, that's exactly what I want. Actually, let's just copy and paste that. There. It's too long. All right, tiny bit less battery. Okay, first thing I want to do is I want to upgrade the power plant. So we're going to go, rather having, 5, 10, 15, 30 megawatts worth of total power, we now have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 megawatts worth of total mechanical, total power generation on these power plants. So that's going to be the first thing. The second thing I want to do is I want to have mass battery storage. Last thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need something to actually spin this and get it running. Can I unpause those? At least then trucks can get some stuff done, which means we need to build some steam. Now, I have said it before, and I'll say it again. The boiler, the electric boiler is shit. You should never use it. It is really bad, is really inefficient, because it needs 1.3 megawatts worth of power, and it gives me 24 steam. 24 steam, we're going to run it into a high-pressure turbine, number one, not a high-pressure turbine number 2. We're going to run into the old-fashioned one, and that's going to give me 1 megawatt worth of mechanical power. After I take my 1 megawatt worth of mechanical power, and I did run it into an actual power generator to turn it back into electricity, it's like 80% efficient. So I end up going from 1.3 down to 1, down to like 800 kilowatts worth of power. So all in all, many efficiency losses. But if you happen to be using solar power, at which your power is potentially free most of the time, that changes things dramatically. So what I want to do is I want to have those two plugged in. I want to take my low pressure steam out of these guys, bring them in here, and bring it into this guy, along with plugging that one in as well. And then basically what I want to do is I just want to pick that whole thing up and copy it to here and plug in my water pipe. And the only other thing I need to do is I need to get the now depleted steam out of both of these guys and do something with it. What I want to do is I want to have a large cooling tower, which we're going to copy. Large cooling tower, I'm going to put, let's go with that direction. Sure, let's put you there. We're going to run, please work. Oh, that did work. We're going to run a pipe in there. We're going to run out of this guy at ground level, it turns out, over to here and straight, no, you're over tile. Sure, straight up to the input of the cooling tower and out of this one. And I honestly don't care how you get there. As long as you get there, you will get there. Perfectly done. All right, so that's going to be our plan. Did I set the power priority on this? 12... 13, 12, I did. All right, so what we want to do is we want to build all that. That is going to give me a whole bunch of battery backup. Now, there are a couple of catches with this. First catch being, I want to set you guys to auto balance, because if they fully charge the flywheels, I don't want them to keep running. Unfortunately, the low pressure turbines I'll need to leave running no matter what. In theory, they'll turn off anyway because they won't have any low pressure steam, but it should be fine. And as we can see by the sheer amount of mass that these guys have to spin up, it's going to take them a while. We have 667, not the devil's number, 667 megawatt seconds worth of storage on these drive shafts, apart from the two that happen to be shorter. And they're just going to stock up a whole heap of, potential power, kinetic energy. It's going to take them a while. But when we come into, it's raining right now, if we get heavy rain's where I actually have a problem with power, we will see that these would kick in and we would actually pull power out of the batteries and, it flashed for half a second. We'd pull power out of the batteries and then we'd actually be making some power, which then means I no longer have these dips. No, you're running. I no longer have these dips when we go into heavy rain weather and things start turning off, which is great. Okay, so that's step number 1. Now, step number 2 is we are taking out 96 water and we are turning into steam. We're running it back over here as 96 depleted steam, and we get back 72 water, which means I'm constantly losing 24 water in the system, which means I need to do something about replacing that water as soon as possible. To do that, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be unpausing a couple of these guys. Because what they do is they take in, they're already doing it. That's unfortunate, but it's fine. They're going to take in some seawater and some low-pressure steam, and they're going to create 24 water apiece. What I have done is I've taken out main steam pipe from all our arc furnaces, run it through here through a balancer, which doesn't really have a preference on it. You probably should preference that way. Probably should. And takes the excess steam. Actually, no, it probably should probably that way now. Takes the excess steam and runs it into these guys. This whole row is full, so we just have 5 of these running. 5 of these should be more than enough. Like I said, we have to replace, what was it? 24 water. One of these replaces 25 for water. They're going to bring the water into, well, this pipe into here. We have 2 priorities into this, which should fill it up fine. And then the excess water is going to pop over here and go out this way. Okay. With you need a priority in from that one technically. Okay, with that done, the next thing we need to do is we need to create the steam to run these guys. To do that, what I want to do is I want to come over here and I want to build a arc furnace doing glass, plus 2 more doing glass. Yep, those 3, plus another one doing copper. I don't think I need the copper now, but I think I'll need the copper in the future. Now, with our couple more doing glass, currently, existingly, these guys were already doing glass, but they're doing broken glass only. They're only doing recycled glass. I would like to retrofit the old shitty system, which I really don't like, to a newer high-tech system. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be building all of that, and I just remembered that you didn't connect and I couldn't fix it whilst it was a ghost, but that's going to be our limestone, which I just need to plug into there. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to retrofit the old system, because the old system has these guys. These guys are turning seawater into salt, and they're taking 45 seawater and giving us 12 salt. 12 salt is all I need to run one of these guys. But now I have a whole bunch of desalinators, creating a whole bunch of brine. I can take all that brine, run it into these guys, and get myself a whole bunch of salt this way. In fact, I get twice the amount of salt, which is sort of impressive. It also means that I could potentially, off these 4, run twice as many. So I can run these ones, plus run these ones, plus have a extra bucket of salt for future. Also means technically if these guys are running, I could pour some more dumps and optimize a little bit more. But of course, to do that, I need more sand. To get more sand, I could mine more sand in the ground, except that's gone now, including everything we had out at sea, which was actually really, really funny. We had to come all the way out to about here, which I believe the original coastline is, well, that's coastline, I think. No, actually, it was all beach. I don't know where the original coastline was anymore. It was way back here. We had to do some serious dumping and get all the way out to the edge. But what I want to do is I want to build this build. This build is a grinder build, exactly as we had previously, which we can demolish. Please go away. Please go away. And you, 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 because I really don't want to pick this system up. I really want it to burn out. It's a grinder system. It brings in rock. It's going to run it through a whole bunch of crushers to give us a whole bunch of gravel, where they're going to take the 2 belts worth of gravel. We're going to split them in 2. One's going to run this half, one's going to run that half. I'm sort of regretting this. Am I? Yeah, because now I have to pause left or right, rather than just pausing individually. I might merge these 2 together. I don't know. But what I want to do is I want to run this system. This system is designed to, 1, bring in rocks, 2, bring in more rocks, 3, potentially in the future have a dock right here that will bring in our rock. So once we finish mining everything on the map, should I need rock to make glass, which I'm going to need rock to make sand to make glass, I could set up a rock import from the world map, because there is a rock mine. It's over here. I haven't built it. I haven't even been there, but it does exist. I should probably do something about that. But the plan is to be able to get this up and running, make sand over here, run everything, all the sand off that, which means all of this can go away. At the same time, speaking of things that can go away, is this particular build right here. So hang on. I want to pause you and pause you because they're just making seawater to run these guys. It also means that they can disappear. That pipe can disappear. That pipe can disappear. That pipe can disappear. That belt hidden under there can disappear. There's a belt under there that can disappear. There's a belt under there that can disappear, which is all the salt belts. Speaking of salt belts, I now need to toggle the direction on the salt belt so we can bring it in from this salt mine instead. The other thing I need to do is I need to toggle and upgrade each one of these from the new sand mine. And toggle upgrade. And okay, now I need to find all the little belts. So that needs to be toggled, that needs to be toggled, and that needs to be toggled, which means we're now on the new rock to sand build, which will take a second to fire up. It's mostly there. Also means that that old sand belt can go away. That can go away. That can go away. That can go away. That tank can go away. That can go away. We can start with a. Come on, I need a blank square. All of those guys can go away. All of those guys can go away. Everything down the middle can go away. All. I don't have anything hidden under those belts. I don't think so. All of those can go away. That belt can go away. These belts on this side. That, that can go away. All of that can go away. And that can go away. I already demolished you, didn't I? I definitely have now. Alright, so all of that can go away. That's one hell of a cleanup. I like cleanup. I like removing things. I like having a fresh slate. Helps if these actually get upgraded and then we have enough sand on the belts. Yep, okay. Which means that's a 200 belt. That's a 450 belt. No, that's correct. You're running. Batteries are running. It is currently a heavy rainstorm, and if we have a look, see, not running, not running, not running, not running, not running, not running. Well, my battery's being useless. Oh, they're 15. I need to look at this end. Completely running. Completely running. Completely running. Completely running. Completely running. So half the 13s are also running. Also, so if we look at this one, it's got 417 megawatt seconds. This is down to 340 and dropping. So we're only adding 1 megawatt worth of mechanical power on, but with 2 of these running, we're taking 6 off. So we're chewing into that battery power, but as long as it gets me through the heavy rain period, I should be fine. If it doesn't, I can always add more of those on the end, you know, for the ones that I haven't built myself in, but, you know, it should be fine. And in fact, we're down to cloudy weather, which means everything stopped working again, which means this should start ticking back up again. Beautiful. It does. I love it. I love it. I love batteries. All right. Next thing we want to do, with this side of the base ironed out and much deconstruction to be done, that's a brine pipe, which we need to keep, but everything else can go. In fact, no, I'll leave those. Yeah, we just need the trucks to demolish things. Okay, on this side of the island, or this side of the base, I want to do a couple of things. One, we can see steel is dropping. I need to have more steel. I also want to get these guys off coal. So what I want to do is I want to build this steel furnace. I also want to build all the pipes that we need between furnace A and furnace B. Want to build this furnace. I also want to build that steel furnace and that steel furnace. That adds on 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair, which is hopefully enough steel that I can now come in here and pause this one and this one. Overall, it should be more steel. Also means I can pause. Can I pause? No, I can't pause these guys. I need to have them running. So overall, it should be more steel. We have plenty of water processing, well, water coming in to run these arc furnaces. We have the exhaust pipe, which we're taking to the left. I'm choosing to use the existing exhaust system we have right here. I also need to turn off that alert because you're now going to be permanently empty. Yeah, I'm choosing to use this exhaust system because it's already in place rather than taking the exhaust out to the right. We also have brought in water to run the cool casters, which just needs the molten steel to actually arrive from the looks of it, and then they should start running. We're down to 2,000 steel, 900 and something in the bank. Wow. You're running. I think everything's running perfectly fine. One thing I will have to deal with is the excess steam. So the excess steam comes out this pipe and comes over to here. Now, obviously, if I've just built 6 more of them, I need to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these guys as well, which should process all that extra steam we're making, being this pipe. Yep, should be able to come in here and process into these guys, which should make us even more clean water. I like clean water. Also, the clean water, don't forget, goes into the rear of the arc furnace, and then the excess water comes out this balancer, runs down this pipe into this balancer, some of which was in theory being processed back into this system because it was water negative. It's no longer water negative. It's now very water positive because we cut off a whole lot of exhaust and a whole lot of these cool casters. We're now feeding in the water from the right, being the other system, this new system. So we've removed a lot of water demand from the left-hand side. And more of the water gets passed out this way, which runs over here, which then runs into oil. And if all that water is full, it runs out this pipe, which then runs over to that buffer tank that I spoke about earlier, which then runs off in theory to a nuclear reactor, along with off to all the farms. The fact that you're semi-full worries me a little bit. Honestly, you should not be full. 75%. Yes, if you get over 75%, I need to tone down a nuclear reactor or 2. All right, so with that done, we should be processing more steel, hopefully. We are making 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350. If we turn this one on as well, that would be 400 on one belt. We also have the backup steel over here, and these two furnaces are making iron primarily. They also, one of them has the ability to do steel should we need, well, should iron back up. That's probably the best reasoning. So far I can't see iron backing up, and that went from 900 down to 800. Turns out we're building another one of these guys. We're just going to turn you straight on. You are definitely not short of materials, so that's not the issue. So yeah, it looks like we just might be, with everything cranking back to life, we might be just slightly short on steel now, which is fine because we're going to need more steel to do more things in the not too distant future. So that's those running, that's those running. You have your water, you have your oxygen. No, you do not have your oxygen. You do not have your oxygen. No, hang on, that is oxygen. You have oxygen, you have oxygen. You have oxygen right now. Okay, so now oxygen is plugged in and running. Okay, so that is all that sorted. In theory, that's now enough steel, and we should be getting back to positive. All right, next thing we need to look at is it is our overall uni. We're slightly short. We're slightly short on consumer electronics. We don't make quite enough laptops. All the children have asked for laptops. They've asked for laptops for their schoolwork, and we're just a little bit short. The good news is Jeff Lackintosh from last episode has said he will sponsor 2 more machines. 2 more machines making 2 more laptops. But that was his extreme. That was it. He was not going any further. What he wouldn't sponsor was the actual machines to make the electronics 2. Electronics 3. So we need to come up here and we need to have 2 more machines making electronics 3, which is fine. They're just going to take microchips and electronics 2. We have plenty of electronics 2. The electronics 2 box is, I don't know, one of these boxes, that one? Yeah, it's full. It's doing great. Electronics 1 is doing okay. is having a rubber problem. I think rubber's having a sulfur problem. Yeah, rubber's having a sulfur problem. Can I just put another one in here? Cool, we'll just do that. There's not quite enough room in here for me to do a better job than patching it. All right. Yeah, we have plenty of electronics too. What we don't have is we don't have microchips. So, unfortunately, Jeff has not said he will do anything about sponsoring this build. So we need to build this ourselves. This is going to give us a crap ton more microchips. It's a full build of all 12 machines, which means if we find the last machine, which should be you, we're going to have an extra 12 microchips popping out the top of the build. You all connected? Yeah, you've got gold flowing in. We have copper and plastic flowing in. I'm assuming those belts are fast enough to keep up. Yeah, probably. You know what? We'll just upgrade it, just to be sure. Just to be sure. It's much easier to upgrade a belt right now than find out it ain't nearly enough later. Yeah, I don't even know how gold gets here and what speed belt it comes in on, so there's no point going backward upgrading that one. Although, how much gold do you need? 3. So that's 3. So that's 6. So 6. 12, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 6 is less than 60. And we're also adding gold back in because we have a couple of machines here doing gold recycling, feeding that straight back into the build. So, no, we're fine. We're fine on gold. All right. So, yes, we need to get these machines up and running. These machines are going to produce another 12 microchips, which will run these machines, obviously, which, obviously, if I built that belt, would then dump back out onto the main system, into the main box. Now, the catch is, with us adding another 12 of these guys, each needing 8 teraflops worth of power, worth of computing power each, plus the 8 smelters, each needing 4 teraflops each. We're gonna need some more service. So what I need to do is I need to unpause you and unpause you. That's gonna give me 48 teraflops, which is good. Also, I need to empty that one of servers because it turns out I put the servers in the wrong machine. So we're going to empty this one to give us the access to the servers, to put them in the front machine to get another 48 worth 48 teraflops right here. And then with this one, so our microchips needed 100 teraflops worth, which means 2 machines, plus all our smelters needed, what is it, 8 times 4 is another 32 teraflops, which means another machine. So we should be good. We should just have enough teraflops now to cover all our bases and run everything. In fact, I need to run you for a little while longer just to fill up all the chilled water. Yeah, you need to have, trust me, you need to have this not say 5 and 6. When it says 5 and 6, your teraflops go up and down, and we're up to 1.24 petaflops. I had to look it up. It's petaflops, which turns out is the equivalent of about 14 4090 graphics cards. Okay, with all of that done, we're going to have extra uni. We're going to have full amount of uni from our consumer electronics. That will back up eventually. We have all our maintenance sorted. We have a whole bunch of deconstruction to do. Let's just uni build everything now that I've got every other little project done, I think. Remove all of that. That's all tidied up. Sand belt's running full speed. Sand also comes up here and runs copper. That's running. Steel is up to 1,000, so we're definitely going up in steel, which means we have done everything. I can now say that as far as I can tell, we are 100% stable and ready to finally get into the rocket assembly building, which means I need a rocket assembly depot, which we're going to be building right here, because with my, what was it? It is the Scrooge syndrome. Yes, with my Scrooge syndrome, I figure we should place this right in front of the giant gold mountain. which is pretty much the only thing left on the island. Everything else I have sort of removed. At the same time, we're going to need a rocket launch pad, which we will need to put somewhere near that. And you only need 1200 construction part tier 4, which I have 800 in stock. Also 160 vehicle parts 3, which I do have those. And you need, another 300 construction parts with 1,000 concrete with 800 steel. Those I have. Those I don't. Which means, no matter what, we're not going to get these built this episode. But it does mean in the very next episode, we should have a rocket assembly building up and running, which, needs another 24 teraflops worth of magical power. Also, a rocket launch building, which needs fuel, and the rocket also needs sound suppression. And we should be able to get a rocket up and done. But with all that said, I need to call this episode here. It has been a long episode. It has been jam-packed with just about everything I can think of and fit in. But that is the joy of this series. It has been non-stop, one problem after another. The island is becoming very, very flat at this stage. Very, very flat at this stage. And, oh wow, that never got built. Please, build this. Uni, build. There we go. Also build those. Cool. Yes, the island is becoming very, very flat. We are doing our absolute best to power ourselves with nothing but solar and a shit ton of nuclear power. And I do need to call this episode here. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed. I will see you guys in the very next episode for erecting a rocket in episode 69. All right. Thanks for watching. See you next one. Bye.